Howdy all Moglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Ooh, that sounded a little echoey for some reason. I don't know, weird. Uh, I don't monitor, so I don't know why it would sound echoey, but I kind of did a little bit there. Maybe the dog made some noise. I don't know. It don't matter. All right, so I'm gonna continue searching for new areas because I am not wanting to mine, and it's fun to explore. Uh, so I'm going to continue my exploration of the apocalyptic wasteland. Uh, yeah. So my D&D game that I run, they I'm not sure what they're going to do. They decided trying to decide whether or not they're going to help the people find the people that they already told the people about. So I'm not sure why. I try to make my worlds a little more dynamic, so things are happening around the players that they might not be a part of. And this was one of those instances where just like, uh, you know, in my head I listed off some bodies, and then as they're going past the spider den where they saw the bodies in the cocoons, um, they run into a town that's partially underground. They haven't actually gone to the town yet, so they don't know. Um, and so when they mentioned what they'd seen, then the guards were like, "Oh, those were a couple of scouts we sent because I labeled a couple of goblins and a scout actually from the current bad guys." And so they mentioned the two goblins, and so I'm like, well, obviously the guards would send more people to go try to retrieve their companions, right? I mean, that's how that works. So I mentioned that they were going to do that, and then I'm like, oh, they'd probably take something to burn the webbing. So I was like, oh, get the flamethrower and cause I get the feeling they've probably not been messing with these spiders, but occasionally have to burn back the webbing kind of thing. And so then they're like, oh, well, maybe we should go help them. I'm like, well, you're already killing all the spiders in that area, so maybe they're just going to retrieve the bodies. But I guess if that's what they want to do, that's what they can do. So they're currently discussing whether or not they're going to go and help retrieve the bodies. Although, I mean, what's it going to be? You march down and they burn some webbing with the flamethrower, and uh, I mean, burn biome. No, this isn't burn biome. Is this burn biome? I can never tell. I need some flaming zombies. It's not on fire, so this isn't burnt biome. This is rubble. But I think the trees here also give off coal, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, they do. Look at that. I didn't even have to dig underground for it. Bam. You'd think you'd be able to just burn wood. Can I just burn wood? Is charcoal a thing in this? I feel like charcoal should be... It's not. Charcoal... Ugh. Get lost, buzzard. I feel like charcoal should be a thing. Whoa. Get lost, buzzard. You don't listen very well, do you? Oh, that, I don't know how many drinks I have to drink to stop being thirsty, but this is starting to get ridiculous. Luckily, I've got a filter on I guess I could just... Oh, there's not an opening. Oh, that was a great jump, buddy. But yeah, that game's going pretty slow at the moment. And I haven't been trying to push them too hard. I don't know. With the addition of yard work, I've been pretty busy, honestly. In fact, today it's actually tomorrow now. Today, it's after midnight. I'm recording. That means this is gonna be a bugger to get up for tomorrow. Honestly, oh, there's a freaking zombie bear. I am in trouble. Oh, there's a door right there. Ha ha. Where's my bike? Um, no, I forgot what I was saying. I don't know. It was just a super long day today, and we had streaming, which we didn't get started till really late, so we went long, and and then we were finishing up. We have one more episode of Waco on Netflix to watch. Um, so we finished that off, and then I had to finish work. Got that dreaded email. Oh yeah, by the way, we're not gonna get our stuff done this week. So, uh, yeah, I need you to do a few more things before you. I mean, it's why I have started working like I do. I don't know. I really, really need to schedule my life better. And the last couple weeks here have been really bad schedule-wise. Oh, that's cool. Been a while since I've seen a zombie come up out of a grave. Uh, um, and part of what's gone down, of course, is that it's yard work weather now until what winter, and so I have extra duties added on, and so looking at the weather this week was like rain, rain, sunny on Tuesday. Well, okay, cloudy on Monday, but with a temperature of 38. Well, I don't want to mow the lawn in 38-degree weather. What the heck is that? It was 70 when I went and mowed the lawn before. What do you mean it's 38 degrees? Uh, and so then Tuesday was a little warmer at near 50. And so I went out and mowed the lawn, and I mowed all day. I mean, we use I say we, I'm the only one that does it, use a riding lawnmower, but we have like acres of lawn, and so it takes a few hours. I'm not exactly sure how long it takes. I don't recall exactly when I went out, but it was almost 6 o'clock at night when I came, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever you call that, when I came back in, and I mowed constantly. And I know it was pretty early in the afternoon, so I was probably out there for at least 4.5 hours of mowing lawn. And normally I spread that out over a couple of days, but the weather said it was supposed to be rain all weekend, or all the rest of the week. And so, what did it not do? Rain. It rained a little bit today. It's supposed to be thunderstorms, according to this morning when I checked the weather. And by this afternoon, that's not true anymore. So I probably could have mowed tomorrow. How am I doing on coal? 153. Yeah, I probably should just dig a mine. I know I wanted to just use the trees, but I don't know. At least we got to explore a little bit here. How's my fuel doing? I got plenty of fuel. Let's see how far this road goes before it stops like all the other roads. I feel like I must just have spawned way to the north, right? Well, that's interesting looking. Got like a river? Do I have a river? I didn't even know it still existed in the game. Wow. Will you hit this guy? Thank you. I know they're in like the Navigaine map, which is generated, but pre-generated. I didn't know they were still in. It's not really a river though, is it? Just kind of a low spot. They need better water generation in the random maps for sure. They are. Look at it. Kind of jacked up now. I mean, it's better than. No, I can't say that. They used to have rivers. Uh, I books. I do think that I don't want to return to when the entire map was on a grid, uh, which was pretty funny. Every biome was surrounded by. What kind of book place is this? Why is there a wood stove in a bookstore? I don't know which is easier to get back here. Guess this will work. So yeah. But so it's eaten up like all my time. It feels like, and so I stayed up super late. Um, Super late on Tuesday because of that, and then I don't know, and then that just led into staying up super late on Wednesday and super late um, tonight, obviously. But at least I don't have work tomorrow. Well, I mean, other work. We're getting a new phone line, or we got a new phone line. And maybe supposed to be getting a new modem. because we're getting two phone lines for two modems. I think I don't know. We call the company, right, and we get a dude from India, and so I have the worst problem understanding people on the phone, anyways, and which is weird because I have what I consider good hearing in real life, but on the phone, everybody sounds like mumbly and quiet, quieter than they do in real life. So I don't know what the deal is. I just have an aversion to hearing on the phone or something. And so I'm not exactly sure what he meant by what he said, because I can't believe what he said is what he meant. Because what he said was, you won't have to install, you'll just have to plug the modem into a separate phone jack. But if that's true, then why can't I just get higher bandwidth on the modem I've got now? What am I doing? So I believe I didn't order it. I believe what got ordered was a new phone line, and so I've got to run the inside the house line for that. I really don't know what he meant by you just have to plug the modem in. You just have to plug the modem in a different jack, he says. Well, I don't have a different jack, though. I've got to run a whole new line for a new jack. We only have one jack, buddy. So, um, and I could be wrong. Maybe it is over the same phone line. Maybe it makes absolutely no sense. Why? How? How could you not give me more bandwidth? Maybe the modem's not capable of it. I don't know. Uh, I just don't know. I feel like they should have had some options, though. There are ways to get better bandwidth in the way that we said we wanted to do it. So there's got to be a way to bundle enough lines together, like a R line, right? I don't know. I'm not a modem person. I'm not an internet network person. I'm a I'm a PC technician slash network slash whatever else person. I understand those things. I don't quite understand how transmitting over the phone line works. I I understand it. I don't know the details of it. Let's put it that way. Um, I'm a more generalized concept person. There we go. Rather than the specifics. And this is the specifics. And it would have been nice to be able to talk to a technician who speaks English as their first language, um, to figure out what's going on. Not that I have anything against, some help desk people or whatever, but the questions I asked got answered in weird ways, and I did not follow up on the questions because I figured I would just figure it out myself. Either way, I have to run a new line. It just depends on whether or not I connect the wires to the two orange lines or the two blue lines. And I will start with the two orange lines. I will. So I guess to finish off our episode, we should talk about this week's D&D game that I play in, as I usually do. Uh, Yeah, it got a little irritating in spots for sure. Uh, we decided to head back to town, um, and what happened was we we're going along, and there's a lot of bad guys, right? I mean, that's what you want in the game. But they're weird in numbers and types, and there's no theme to this campaign, and I don't like it. I definitely do not like this campaign. I at this point in the dialogue, uh, I would say I don't ever want to play. I don't ever want to play the two Waterdeep adventure books again. I have not liked either one. Um, they are lacking in comprehensive cohesiveness. There's never anything to actually do. You're not allowed. There's nothing written in the books for things that you can do that aren't waiting for the next phase of the main quest to go. And I don't feel there should ever be waiting or quests that don't mean anything. Like, quests need to be tied into you somehow, and our DM doesn't know how to do that, and the books don't try. And so I find them disappointing in how they're written. And so we are in the dungeon of the Mad Mage, and I think we basically got two quests. One is to find a throne. Ow. One is to find a throne that has elven writing on it with no clue beyond that. And so we're basically wandering around in a giant multi level dungeon. Um, and uh, uh, randomly looking for two things. One is this throne, and then the other is this guy went missing, and they want us to find him. And that's it. And nothing else has been told to us. There's nothing cohesive about what's going on. I feel like once again, it's kind of the opposite of the previous campaign because we keep running into Xanathar's people, and I don't understand why Xanathar's people are in here. And of course, it's never explained, and we don't get to ask questions because anytime we try to talk to any NPC, they turn out to be a bad guy that just straight up attacks us. Um, but there isn't enough like monsters to be a thing. It's not like we're in the city and they're like a group of I don't know why I can't think of what those guys are called. Um, Umber Hulks. There we go. A group of Umber Hulks have torn through from a lower floor, and we need you to fight back against the nest. And so then it becomes a series of fighting through tunnels and hallways and pushing back. There's nothing fun like that. It's just wandering around from room to room. Oh, is there something in this room? No. Okay, then we'll move on down the hallway to the next room. Is there something in this room? Oh, yeah, there's something to fight. Okay, we fight it. Does it tie into anything? Nope, it doesn't tie into anything. So let's wander on to the next room. Oh, this is just another empty room? Okay, well, there's a lot of empty rooms in this campaign, uh, and I find that to be extremely boring. And the one time we found anything even remotely civilized that we could talk to, our DM just had him immediately attack. Um, and yeah, so I'm not enjoying this campaign. And I really thought that some of the earlier ones we had done would be the worst things I'd ever done, and they just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, at least the Strahd campaign had a theme. I don't have any sense of a theme for the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Um, I mean, here's an example. Okay, we're in a hallway last night, and we're told that the carvings on the walls are dwarven. We turn and walk about 20 feet to the south, and then there's an elven tomb. What? Why? I don't understand. Like, those shouldn't be next to each other. It makes no sense for them to be next to each other. And the Dungeon of the Mad Mage is not like a maze of madness for the mage. No, no. The mage is mad, and he happens to live in the dungeon of the Mad Mage. He didn't make the dungeon, he just took it over. Uh, and I know there's like cities in here too. And the other thing I find super weird is that we keep coming across these archways that teleport you to other floors. And I don't understand what purpose they serve because you're not allowed to use them because you don't have the levels because the game, the book, says the floors are level locked. And so if you don't have, well, that's what our DM told us, anyways. I guess I haven't looked. But if we're not the appropriate level, we can't use the gateways. And so we found one gateway, and it's like it's got a coin slot on it, right? And so we put the coin in, and it opens up, and then our DM says it tells you to come back when you're stronger, but it doesn't tell us how much stronger. And we have no idea what it means. And there's no one has even ever mentioned them. We didn't find any books about it or anything like that. So we're just wandering around blind, finding weird things like that that apparently we're supposed to come back to later. But who goes on a dungeon crawl to have to come back to something later? No game I've ever played is like, remember those important things on level 2? Now that you're on level 18, well, you gotta go back to those things on level 2. Sure, there's Easter egg stuff like that, but I've never played a game where level 2 requires me to return to it when I've moved on. So why am I finding something on level 2 that might take me to level 7 when I will eventually just go to level 7? I don't understand. I don't understand why it's made like this. I don't understand why they're not guarded. I don't like. Are they supposed to be transportation hubs? Like we also found this thing where there's like a selector for different floors and buttons to push, but it won't respond to us because we're not the appropriate levels. So we found a thing I think will take us to the different cities in the dungeon. I'm vaguely aware of what's going on in this dungeon because I've seen stuff about it, but I don't know details. But we found this thing, and it's like we'll teleport you to floor 3 and floor 7 and floor 14, but you can't go there now because you're not level 3. Or no, I guess for us it would be level 5 was floor 1. Level 6 is floor 2, which is what we're on now. So we need to be level 7 to go to floor 3. Um, And so it's just super boring. And so we're going along last night, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna go back to the city. We found these statues. We found some big doors, but we didn't open them because like all my spells were used up, and I hate to open big doors to a big fight when I've got no power left. And like, we'll just go back to the surface. And our DM made a big deal about if we go to the surface and we spend any time outside the dungeon, we might have to fight our way back through. But he doesn't mean that because he's not going to put in the effort to look. And so we just teleported straight from floor two to the surface. And I mean, we didn't teleport. We walked, and but we found these monster statues we wanted to take back to our bar because thought that'd be fun. Oh, and we found one of those archways, right? And on it is the rust monster. And so while we're exploring, which is basically all we do, we found statues. They didn't mean anything. Like they're just statues. Nothing was attached to them. They weren't trapped. They didn't have treasure. They didn't come with a warning. Nobody was there waiting for us. Just some random statues in this big long hallway. And so we took some of them, and uh, some of them were monsters. And I thought, uh, the other guy who plays with us, he wanted to take them, and I'm like, ooh, we should totally take them and put them back on our bar. So I grabbed some of the more interesting ones, and like a quaggoth or something like that, which is like a yeti, and then a Noggoth, which is a one-eyed imp kind of thing, and what was the other thing? There were three of them that we. Oh, and a rust monster. And we found this. Archway. I keep calling it archway, and I know that's not the word. We keep finding these arches, and right, the one that like the coin. We put the coin in, and it was like, "You're not powerful enough to use me." And so then we find this one that's got a rust monster symbol on it. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but our DM got really snippy again because I was like, "Ooh, we should drag one of these rust monsters back to the arch that's got a rust monster on it." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, because it's got a rust monster on it, and this is a rust monster. I mean, it can't hurt to try, right?" Well, you would know. No, my guy, always his guy, my guy would know that his guy who's a tinkerer that makes things versus my guy who's an actual spellcaster. My guy would know because of his arcane background that you don't need an actual rust monster. You need something that symbolizes what a rust monster would be interacting with. Okay, but I don't know what that is. So I guess we just take the rust monster back to the bar since apparently we're not allowed to do things. Because this ain't the first time you said we couldn't do something that I thought might be an okay idea. I mean, I didn't think the rust monster would open the gate, but I mean, it asks for a rust monster, right? There's a rust monster on it. I got a rust monster. Maybe we need to put the two rust monsters next to the gate and it activates. I don't know. Uh, so, I mean, I'm sure. Look at that wall. I'm sure in the long run, his guy will just know how they activate and tell us how to activate them because that's how it works. So then so anyways, we took those statues back to our base, and this is going on pretty far. Like this is the I guess it's not that far. I was thinking this was taking me out past the area to the north, but it's not. We're not quite there yet. This is just a good road leading me out to a new section, maybe. And anyways, I want to finish this up pretty quick here because it's getting late. But so then, look at that hill. Then we go back to the bar and we rest, and then we oh that was last week where our DM was like, you can't just long rest whenever you want. I'm like, can we get back to the surface? Yeah. I'm like, well then I can go hang out at my bar until it's nighttime and then long rest all I want, can't I? Uh, I didn't say I was gonna sleep here. Uh, we're not far enough away from the bar yet to. We're only a few hundred feet down. I can work myself for a few hundred feet back up to go home. Right? Uh, but he. Anyways, so then we come back down. He's like, "Well, where are you gonna come back down to?" I'm like, "Oh, because he didn't have any problem with us crossing through areas that we had gone through before, and he wasn't going to attack us, but he decided that maybe we shouldn't be allowed to go back to where we were at. And I don't know why. And so we decided to explore an area we hadn't been to yet, and so when we get in there, we hit the thing that we hate. We found some creatures, and one of them is electrifying the floor, but the floor is covered in copper plates. And also in the room is a big monster to attack you. Rawr, big attacky monster. And you know what? We wouldn't go on the floor because the floor is electrified, but the monster wouldn't come off the electrified floor. And so when we refuse to go on the electrified floor, who would go onto a floor they know is going to hurt him? And so when we refused to go on the electrified floor, he decided to move the creatures, instead of attacking us, off to the side so that we couldn't see them. And so like, well, I'm just gonna leave then. And he's like, you're not gonna like rush him or something? Try and no. Why would I run onto an electrified floor? You only want us to go in there to attack that guy so that we take damage every round from the floor. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's dumb. It's dumb, and I wouldn't do it. Uh, Neither of my characters are dumb enough to stand on a floor that's hurting them just so you can feel good about doing damage to our characters. Not happening. Uh, so we went around to another section and we found out that it looped around and you could see from the bottom. And so then he decided he's very loose with the rules, and so he changes the rules in that instant so that we can't see the floating skull surrounded by lightning because it's behind the other monster. So I throw some damage spells at it that are AoEs, so it hurts both. The monster is a flesh golem, kind of like Frankenstein. So it hits Frankenstein and the lightning skull behind it. And so then after that, he decides to move the flesh golem forward, but he'd waited so long trying to hide them that we just kept shooting them with arrows. And so by the time the flesh golem actually got down to where we were at, I was easily able to hack it to pieces in one turn. And then we just picked off the lightning skull from a distance because it wouldn't come down to where we were at. And and he tried. Oh, this is burned biome, right? Yeah, look at this is burned biome. This is what I was looking for. I found it. Crazy. So what he wanted to do was he wanted us to go on the electrified floor, and so I'm like, so the copper on the floor that's being electrified, is it like the floor itself is copper, or is it like plates on the copper or plates on the floor that are made out of copper? He's like, it's definitely plates. I'm like, okay. I've got a crowbar. I'm gonna pop some of these copper plates up, and so he let us do that, and so I popped up 2 of the copper plates that then separated 2 more of the copper plates from the all the copper plates touching each other. And so we just stood in the hallway. Well, no, we would hop out, shoot it with some arrows because we knew it was going to shoot lightning at us, and then step back around the corner where it couldn't see us until it was dead. And that's where we ended. But man, every time we fight something, it's got to run away. Run away and hide. Run away and hide. Like, what's the point of us being in here if everything's just going to run away and hide? There isn't treasure. There aren't quests, really. We found out our thief got teleported away and was allowed to ask 3 questions, 2 of which would be true, 1 of which would be false, and so our DM straight up told us which one was false, and I don't know why he would do that, and so then the other 2 were true. And so he's already told us that the things we're looking for that we're given quests for are on floor 3. So there's not a reason for us to be on floor 2 except for we're level locked. And so we have to get enough XP on floor 2 to be able to get through the barrier that's preventing us from using the stairs to go down. This is just like Princes of the Apocalypse. I just realized where he put false doors in place so that you couldn't go to the temples, which is really disappointing because the temples had some really awesome weapons if you could survive it, and I mean, I'll admit it was way easier to survive when we finally did get there, but it would have been nice to be able to go earlier. But yeah, it's I don't know his fascination with having the bad guys constantly run away is just, oh man, I'm gonna drown you, man. What is your water at? Why are you always thirsty? You're not hot. It's driving me crazy. Alright, well, with that, I am going to call it a day. So click like if you like, subscribe to and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.